I am Linda Nelson. I'm from Lindon 20th Ward. We recently had a situation in our family where one of my granddaughters, who at the time was 10 years old, was a very gifted gymnast, and she competed at the state level actually for her group that she was with, and her parents started noticing that she was eating less and less. She's only 10. Pretty soon she was a full-blown anorexic, which was horrifying to everyone because her blood pressure started dropping and so forth. And they took her to the hospital a couple of times and tried to help her, and it didn't work. She ended up, they couldn't treat her in California because she was so young. They don't have any treatment for kids that young. So they took her to Arizona. They found a place in Arizona where she could be in residence, and they put a tube in her to feed her against her will. She would not eat anything. And over time, they would just have to drive to Arizona to see her on a regular basis. And it was frightening for all of us. We were all praying for her and hoping that she could find a way back to being healthy again. Her mom tells the story of one day she was driving somewhere and she had a distinct feeling. It said, "Go to the temple twice a week." And she said, I thought, oh my gosh, there's no way. I can't do that. She had a child in high school and one in junior high and one in elementary, and she volunteered for all kinds of things. So it was just, I just can't do that. And so she dismissed the idea. A few weeks later, she had the same impression. This is after her daughter had been in the residential program for about a year. A week or two later, she had the same impression. Go to the temple twice a week. And she said the fact that it came twice meant I needed to act on that. But she said, there's no way I can go twice a week. Since the temple near them was closed, she would have to drive an hour and something to get to the other temple. But she said, how about if I go to the temple once a week and then do my genealogy once a week? Would that be? I'll just do that. I'll try that. So she did, and she went to the temple, and for the first time, she was coming out of the temple, and her phone rang, and it was her daughter. And she said, "Mom, this is so crazy. I wasn't going to eat today, but then I just thought I should eat. And so I did. I ate lunch today." And this continued. Of course, everybody was crying, but this continued week after week, and within a short while, she was back home. And she's healthy now and able to eat a normal. If you saw her today, you would never know anything had happened to her. But that to me was like, I told my husband, yeah, we're going to the temple once a week from now on. And I think there have been things in my own life since we made that decision that have just worked out better. Relationship we had with one of our kids was awkward and bad, and he had left the church, and he's not back, but seems that he's softened a little bit toward us. So I would just say that if you have things in your life that are challenging, or even if you don't, go to the temple and let Heavenly Father work through you by your willingness to go and spend your time in the temple. In His house, I find the value of consistency works in your life in ways that you may not expect.